Good afternoon, Ashley. Barty for you. Who's going to ask the first question? Back there.
You happy with that as a first round hitter, Cash?
Yeah, I think a very tricky opponent to start off with. So really happy with the way that we were able to kind of get through and work our way into the match. Took some time to adjust to conditions and the different court, but it's a beautiful court to play on, and enjoyed every minute.
Ash, after missing last week and all the talk about your new ranking and everything, was it good just to get out there and get going?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we kind of came into it thinking kind of like a Hakuna Matata and just relax and just go for it. But it was, really nice to come in here and get stuck into that first match.
How was the experience of playing on a big court in singles for the first time here you played on a court that big, and now the court one's had a bit of a facelift? What was it like to get out there?
Yeah, beautiful court. Have some really nice memories from juniors playing my final on that court. Played, I think, a double semi with Case on court one, so we have some really, really nice memories. But I walked out there and was kind of fangirling for a minute. It was really nice and just a beautiful court to start on.
There's been a lot of talk about the pressure that comes with being number one. How do you feel about that? Is that something you embrace, or?
Oh, I think for me it's a little bit irrelevant. The only pressure I put on, the only pressure I have is that I put on myself to making sure that I'm doing all the right things, preparing in the right way, and then ultimately when we play our matches, we go out there and enjoy it. That's why we do all the work, all the practice, is to go out there and enjoy competing. Just play each match as it comes, and there's certainly no extra stresses on any match.
Ash, you're pretty good mates with Trent Cotchin. Has he sent you a message since you got to world number one?
Yeah, I spoke to Koch, spoke to him yesterday after he played as well. It was nice to see him back on the park, but I keep in touch with Koch regularly, more about life in general than specifics in sport, but it was nice to hear from him.
Okay, first half question. How do you think your rival, the Chinese player, Sai Zheng, second half, Naomi Osaka told us she doesn't want to be number one because too much more pressure, and you are number one now. How do you think the title number one? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I've had some very tough matches against Sai in the past. We've played a few times now, and it's always a big challenge playing up against her, and played her, I think, most recently in Wuhan last year. So again, different playing her in China as well, but always a challenge, one that I enjoy playing. She brings so much variety to the court as well. And I mean, as for Naomi, I can't really comment on what she says. We've had an incredible year, and to be where we are is really exciting, and loving every minute.
Ash, if there was one frailty in your game today, it appeared to be your serve that was a little bit off. Is that of concern to you? And coming up for your next match against the Belgium opponent, I mean, what do you think you need to do to improve on what you did today?
Oh, my serve was there when I needed it. In big points, it was there, so it's certainly no stress for me. It's not something I ever worry about. It took some getting used to with the change of end to end as well, but my serve is not something that I ever really worry about. I've played Alison before on hard courts, haven't played her on the grass, but she has the ability to take the game away from you pretty early in rallies. A big serve and a big first shot after her serve, so it'll be important for me to neutralise as best that I can and bring variety into the match as well.
Ever since you've been world number one, do you feel you have more of a responsibility to be a role model for people and speak out about women's tennis?
I think I try and be a role model by just setting the example of when I play. I don't try and do anything extra. If I can make a difference into one person's life, it would be incredible. But for me, it's just about trying to go about my business the right way. I'm very lucky to have family, and my parents in particular brought me up in a very respectful and certain way, and I try and live by that every single day, regardless whether I'm on the tennis court or just living my everyday life. So I think for me, I just try and do the best that I can every single day. If that can inspire any person around the world, that'd be incredible.
Watching you practice yesterday with Kiki Burtons, did the court in the practice courts play any differently to court one? Is there a change in speed or?
Yeah, massively so. They've just had more foot traffic. Obviously, they're a bit quicker. Everyone's out there practicing. I don't think court one had any play on it, aside from yesterday with the matches. So I think centre court and court one always typically start off a little bit slower. And the match courts this year were slower than I remember, but they'll quicken up with more foot traffic and with more play.
Ash, Nick and Jordan were playing a pretty entertaining match during while you were on court. Just talking about being a role model and how you grew up to be taught to be respectful. What do you think of when you watch someone like Nick play? When you sit down and watch him, do you think, gee, it's entertaining, or do you think pull your head in?
I didn't see any of it today. We were warming up when they started, and then I was warming up physically when they were still playing, so I didn't see a minute of it.
Or in a general sense, like obviously there's often matches he plays where things go on. What about previous matches you've seen? What do you think of his attitude? And
Oh, not often do the tours actually cross paths. I mean, we only probably play a handful of tournaments where we're in the same place, and I don't really watch a lot of his matches. I don't watch a lot of tennis matches in general, so it's not really for me to comment on.
There was a bit of talk back in Australia. Channel 7 played some of the Kyrgios match instead of your game. Should the broadcasters work out a way to make sure everyone gets a fair run, particularly women's tennis?
How do you want me to answer that one? If people can watch my matches, great. If they can't, they can't. That's up to the broadcasters, not up to me.
I should ask, Fed Cup changing format. We're in Australia's in the last final of the one that's been there for 30 years. What are your thoughts on that? On the change of format?
Yeah, I mean, it was only confirmed a few days ago. So the details that I've read and the details that I've been given are pretty vague at the moment. But I mean, we're pretty excited to be in our first final in a few years, and it'll be really good to finish off the season for all of us in Australia. There's no better way in a final playing for your nation, and next year is going to be an extremely busy year. Obviously with the Fed Cup changes, with the Olympics, a full schedule as it is. So I think it'll be busy. But I guess we'll just see how the change goes. We won't know until we play it.
Ash, what would it mean for you to finish off? I know this is looking way ahead, but to finish off a season where you won a major, you got number one, and you win Fed Cup.
Be a pretty good year, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't do that. I mean, is that even just the idea of it seem absurd to you at all, or just in terms of what you thought this season might look like back in January?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an incredible season. It's already been an incredible season. I think for having the opportunity to finish off just playing Fed Cup for my country is something that I've always loved to do, and to play in a final is the pinnacle for us. And I think we've now got the opportunity to go out there and play at home, play in front of our home crowd, enjoy it and try and do our very best. And if we come away with a win, it's incredible. And if we don't, we've still come so far and done everything that we can. So I think it's a hell of a way to finish off a year.
Ash, you've obviously managing your arm, yet you're playing doubles. So I just wanted to find out, why do you play doubles? Is that just to keep the rhythm going, that you're playing games rather than perhaps practicing? Is that why?
I love doubles. I've always tried to play doubles when I can, and for me it keeps in a routine of playing matches. If the schedule kind of works in your favour, you can kind of go day on, day off with singles and doubles, and playing competition is why we play this sport, and it's much more fun than being out in the practice court.
Ash, I think only Serena in the last 20 odd years has won French Open, Wimbledon back to back. What makes that such a difficult thing to try to do?
Oh, it's a change of surface. It's complete changing conditions and everything. And for only one person to have done it in 20 or so years, as he said, and for it to be Serena, it shows just how exceptionally hard it is. So I think for me it's a possibility, but it's certainly not something that we're thinking about. It's about going match by match and trying to do the best that I can in every single tennis match that we play here. And if we can give ourselves the opportunity, that'd be great.
You had a very nice reception at the end, very warm from the crowd. You must have felt that, obviously.
Yeah, an incredible reception. I think when we walked out as well, it was really special for both Sai and myself. And it wasn't only one of us on the tennis court. It was really nice to be able to share that with Sai, and it's an incredible court one. The crowd was awesome. It was really nice to play in front of a pretty full crowd and on a court that I have so many good memories. Cool. Thank you.